welcome to Podnutz Daily for, what is it, March 4th, 2009, episode number 150. That's that's a milestone and a half. Let's see what happens at 200. I wonder if you guys thought I could make it to 200, especially since I started doing 2 shows a week instead of full show every day. You're probably like, Steve's done. Steve's not done. First thing I want to talk about is a blue screen on a laptop or a desktop. What was it? Let me refresh my memory. Okay, I think it was a Dell Inspiron 6000 or E1505, one of those models that look just like that. Blue screen, halfway through the boot up process, computer blue screened, saying the SAM file is corrupted. That's a registry file. So how can you do and system restore actually repairs the computer back to an earlier version of the registry? Well, how can you run system restore if you can't boot into Windows? Aha! Ultimate Boot CD has a tool on it called the Registry Repair Wizard. I found out about this tool because I was repairing the registry manually with the recovery console, and one of you guys who's listening wrote me and said, do it the easy way. And that's if you go into Ultimate Boot CD for Windows, start the registry repair wizard. It's like doing a system restore except you're not in Windows. Restore it back like one registry click, because for there to be other entries in the registry that you can restore to, that must have meant that the computer was working at that point in time. So if you just go back one earlier registry to what you're using now, so if say today's March 2nd, go back to, if the earliest one's March 1st, go back to March 1st, and then that will work. So to do that, run the Registry Repair Wizard. Do that if you have any of those errors, like the SAM files corrupted, or system files corrupted, or security files corrupted. Any of those registry files, just to run Registry Repair Wizard, works like a charm. Then we just went ahead and made sure everything was nice and clean on that machine, and that worked. Now, I had a machine doing the same thing, except it was on Vista, blue screening, about halfway through the boot up process with no particular readable error. Like sometimes it'll say IRQ not less than equal, or sometimes it'll say bootable volume something, no bootable volume, whatever. This is one of those blue screens that had nothing. I like to run check disk to try to handle that on a Windows boot up process. So one of the first things I do is run check disk /R. Vista, you can do that from Vista. You start from a Vista boot CD. So you boot to the Vista CD, and then you click the button that says Install Now, and then at the next screen you say Repair My Computer. There's a button that says Repair Computer. Click that. It looks to see if you have any installations of Windows. You hit Next, and then you get about 5 options to repair your computer. You can do a system restore. You can do a startup recovery option. You can go to the run mem test. You can go to the command prompt. I went to the command prompt, and I went to run check disk /R. And I'm pressing it. I'm trying to run check disk /R, and I got this error I never got before. It said, Windows cannot check this disk because it is write protected, or an error similar to that. And I'm like, how do I unwrite protect this disk? And I did Google search and found, looking all over the place, how to write protect this hard drive. Why is it write protected in the first place? It should not even be write protected. Well, it turns out when you go into the recovery or the command prompt from the Vista boot disk, I think it creates a RAM drive, and that's the default directory you're in. So I'm in it like an idiot in there pressing check disk /R, and because the RAM drive is only readable, it wasn't doing it. It was trying to run check disk on that drive, that environment I set up. So all you had to do was switch to C:, and then run check disk from C. Everything worked fine. Well, everything didn't really work fine. Check disk didn't actually fix the problem, but at least it ran. So what I actually ended up having to do on that was I did a system recovery. Backed up all of his files, did a system recovery, boom, put all his files back in. I was running out of time at that point. I didn't want to try any more funny stuff, so I just went straight for the reinstall. We talked about that before. I like to go straight for the reinstall sometimes. This green screen behind me is really tearing me up. This is Manycam. I'm either going to blame my poor lighting or I'm going to blame Manycam. I haven't decided yet. So if the green screen starts to go away or turn into like a strange design that's just globbing around down there, then just ignore it. Next thing is customer brought in an older HP laptop. We're talking like 5 years old, 4 or 5 years old. The problem with this one was the mouse button under the touchpad was sticking. You'd press the left mouse button down, it would stay down, and then if you'd like waited a couple seconds, it would pop back up. And she also said the touchpad wasn't working. Now, this is a very delicate fix I did, and I just recommend you do it carefully if you're going to do what I did. I didn't feel like taking the whole computer apart to get to the touchpad because that's what you have to do. But you can, if you actually pull out the hard drive on this model, the touchpad sits right above the hard drive. So if you pull out the hard drive, you can actually at least see the circuit board and the button for the touchpad and the buttons. Well, I went ahead and did that. And hang on one second. I went ahead and did that. Somebody just Skyped me real quick. I went ahead and did that, and I was able to see now the buttons and the touchpad, the circuit board at least. When you got a sticky button, you can do this. You take some electrical cleaner, and you kind of spray gently around the buttons where they're sticky. Try to get the liquid under the button, and start pressing the button to make sure you're unjamming whatever was jamming it, causing it to stick. Worked like a charm. This stuff is very, it really cleans up whatever you spray it up to. You got to be careful. On some plastics, it tends to leave markings, but usually we could rub that off with a cloth or something. It doesn't stain it for permanently. But we sprayed it in it. Now, what you don't want to do is overdo it because you're spraying a liquid onto a circuit board. Even though it's electrical cleaner, in these laptops where everything's really tightly snug together, you get liquid in a real snug spot, it's going to have a hard time evaporating. But what I did is I sprayed it on the buttons just a little bit, made sure the button, and the button was free after that, really free after that, so that was fine. The button was okay. Then I let it sit for an hour just in case any liquid was in there. Let these things sit for an hour. You don't want to lightly spray liquids into laptops, okay? You want to make that clear. But electrical cleaner evaporates in a snap. That was weird. I snapped and my green screen went away. And it just went away again. The electrical cleaner goes away, it evaporates real fast. But if you spray too much of it in, it's gonna leave some liquid in there. So use it sparingly and let the computer sit for a while. Just make sure it's evaporated before you try turning anything back on. And another topic I want to cover: DV6000, my favorite laptop. Joking. I don't hate the DV6000 because I never owned one, but they have a lot of problems with motherboards and, in this case, wireless card. Person brought in a DV6000. Wireless card was not working. Well, I replaced the wireless card with one from another